What if the thing you feared most was being the real you? There is a version of this story everyone remembers as comedy. A clumsy panda, a noodle shop, and an accident that becomes a prophecy. But sit inside that accident for a moment. Poe didn't train for this. He didn't earn it through years of discipline like the warriors around him did. He fell, quite literally, into the role of Dragon Warrior, a title that 5 seasoned, lifelong fighters had spent their entire existence trying to deserve. And the moment it happens, the room doesn't cheer. They go silent. Tigress, mantis, crane, viper, and monkey, they don't see destiny. They see a mistake that hasn't been corrected yet. So Poe starts the only way someone in his position can, by performing. He fights to convince a room of better warriors that he belongs in it. He trains not to grow, but to catch up to a version of himself that supposedly already exists. The one the prophecy promised, the one he has never actually met. And underneath the training montages, underneath the noodle shop jokes, there's a much quieter scene. A son asking his father, gently, painfully, "Was I adopted?" That question isn't about biology. It's about belonging. It's a child who has spent his whole life sensing that he doesn't quite fit the shape of the life he was placed into, finally asking someone to confirm it. What Poe is carrying has a name, even if the movie never says it out loud. Imposter syndrome. The belief that you are occupying a place you have not earned, and that at any moment, someone is going to notice. It rarely announces itself. It hides inside competence. Poe can fight. He does become extraordinary. But none of that quiets the voice underneath it. Because imposter syndrome was never really about ability. It's about identity. It asks a crueler question than, am I good enough? It asks, am I even who I'm supposed to be? That's why the prophecy is so unbearable to him. It isn't a gift. It's a description of someone he's expected to become. And every day he isn't fully that person yet feels like proof that he's failing at being himself. This is the quiet cruelty of being chosen. The label arrives before the self does, and so the person spends years not becoming who they are, but trying to catch up to who they were told they already are. You don't need a prophecy or a magic scroll for this to be your story. Maybe you were the smart one in your family, and you've spent 2 decades terrified of the test, the project, the year where that finally stops being true. Maybe you got the promotion, the role, the title, and instead of relief, you felt a low hum of dread, waiting for the meeting where someone finally says out loud what you've suspected the whole time.
I mean, you don't belong in the Jade Palace.
Maybe people call you strong, capable, the one who has it together. And you carry that description like a costume that's slightly too big, terrified of the day it slips. This is what it feels like to be chosen by other people's expectations before you've chosen yourself. The role arrives, the self is still negotiating whether it agrees. So why does Poe keep fighting, even while convinced he doesn't belong? Because the alternative, stopping and finding out the prophecy was wrong, is more frightening than the exhaustion of pretending it's right. People who carry this wound rarely chase achievement because they love achievement. They chase it because stillness is where the doubt gets loud enough to hear clearly. Performance becomes a way of outrunning the question, not answering it. And there's a detail in Poe's story worth sitting with. The moment he actually changes isn't when he becomes a better fighter. It's when he stops trying to become the dragon warrior the scroll described, and instead looks at the scroll and sees nothing. No secret technique, no hidden answer. Just a reflection. The lesson buried in that blank scroll is brutal and tender at the same time. There was never a correct version of him waiting to be unlocked. There was only ever him, and the question of whether he could believe that was enough. That's not a martial arts lesson. That's a grief. The grief of realizing no one is coming to confirm you're allowed to be who you already are. You have to be the one who confirms it. If you've ever felt chosen for a life you're not sure you earned, if you've ever smiled through a compliment while quietly bracing for the moment people change their mind about you, you're not broken and you're not behind. You're just standing where Poe stood, staring at a scroll, expecting it to hold someone more impressive than you. It won't. It's never supposed to. The prophecy was never the point. You were. And maybe that's the part of the story worth carrying.